what the heck was going on with you and what's her name from Emily's list last night as far as that debate. And
that reminds me. I'll talk about that. I'll let you go. Thank you very much. I appreciate the call.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too.
Yeah, I don't like Emily's list.
So
Is that what you said? It's the
I
way
said,
it is.
it's really it's so unfair to men. Yeah. It's so hard for men out there. No. Jess McIntosh was on, and I like her quite a bit. But they brought us on to talk about the debates. And the Democratic Party has said there's going to be only 6 debates. They've scheduled 3 out of the 4 that have been scheduled at this point on the weekends, right? And we know what happens. You do the debate on Saturday night, then everything gets digested by Sunday, and then it dies down on Monday. One of them is like right in the middle of the Christmas season, so people aren't going to watch it that much. And all that would be fine were it not for the fact that the DNC has basically said what the Republican Party has said: if you do an outside debate, we're not going to let you into the other debates. Okay? And so Martin O'Malley got up there apparently and was at the DNC meeting over the weekend. And he took his entire 15 minutes to basically argue that the system was rigged for Hillary Clinton. And, that question was posed on MSNBC. We don't have a clip of the debate there, but maybe we can get one later. But basically, Jess said that was bunk. And I said, no, of course it's rigged. Now, does this, let me put it this way. It's rigged because the DNC is basically saying, like, look, and they've never done this before. It's unprecedented. In fact, I think back in 1988, I think it was, the League of Women Voters withdrew from their final presidential debate because of the control that the parties were trying to exercise on it. I mean, that's how far we have come from this, okay? But when the party says, we're going to maintain discipline here, they're doing it for a reason, okay? I'm talking on their logic. And that is because they want to shorten the length of the primary. Now, how does fewer debates shorten the length of the primary? I mean, I think in 2008, there were 25 debates. I don't know how many there were. I mean, there were tons. How does fewer debates, even if it's spread out over the course of whatever? Well, it allows less opportunity for challengers to make their case. It allows less issues to become controversial. It allows less opportunity for candidates to mess up and maybe reveal something about themselves or the unpopularity of certain their policies, et cetera. I mean, it's self-evident that it creates less controversy. The fact is, more people will turn into debates than anywhere else because that's where the conflict is. That's just basic human behavior. So the party has decided to limit the number of debates because they don't want to introduce, the more debates you introduce, the more possible changes in the dynamic of the race that are possible. That's basically it. I know I just said the word possible twice in that sentence, but that's my point. And you could say, well, and it obviously helps the front runner. I mean, that's why front runners and incumbents try and avoid debates, right? I mean, everybody knows that. I'm not saying anything that anybody on that program was not aware of. Everybody knows that. Incumbents always try and avoid debates because why should they? There's stuff to lose, not to gain. When these rules were set, Hillary Clinton was by far the front runner. She still remains by far the front runner. But so it's not a coincidence. You could say, well, they rigged it only to basically protect the front runner. Well, we all knew who the front runner was. So that may be just a coincidence, but I think it's not. Had Bernie Sanders been the front runner a year ago for whatever reason, I suspect there'd be more debates. Now, that was one part of my argument. The other part is this is going to hurt the Democrats. It's going to hurt the Democrats because, one, I think part of the reason why they did it was in response to what the Republicans were doing, because the Republicans specifically wanted to limit the number of debates because they were unhappy with how contested their primary was last go round, because they've deluded themselves into thinking that's why Mitt Romney lost, when in fact he lost because he's just a crappy candidate and nobody likes Republican ideas on a national level. And the Democrats are not responding to the reality that this Republican race is actually going to go longer. They're not responding to the reality that Hillary Clinton is being hurt, it seems to me, even on their own terms, of being hurt by not being out there. The Democratic Party is being hurt because it looks like they are being cowardly, like their ideas can't afford to have the type of exposure you would want them to have. Like they're not, you can't sustain a debate in the party. And so I think it's a mistake. And I think it's a mistake both in terms of like just general fairness, and I think it's a mistake in terms of I don't want a Republican to be president. So if it's Martin O'Malley or Bernie Sanders or Hillary Clinton, whoever the nominee is, I want them to be on the best footing possible to fight who the Republican nominee is. And so that was what my perspective was. And it, it's pretty rare you get that argument on, amongst the about the Democratic Party. And I guess it was a little bit controversial that I said that. I didn't think it was.